Sublime magnificence.
Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode that this guy hasn't seen. And as usual, I am joined by my co-host and runner, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Hey Omari, thank you so much for having me back. Love doing this, love doing this thing. My favorite thing to do, sharing these movies, TV shows, whatever we want, back and forth. One guy has seen it, one guy hasn't. Really broadens the watching library that I have, and love doing it.
All right, so there you go. And this week we was I think last time we had Fluffus on the show, and you were like, "What are we going to do next?" I'm like, I'll tell you during the week." And yeah, I remembered that a couple weeks ago when we did our trimmers thing, I saw on Peacock a picture that reminded me, or the title of something that reminded me of like, oh, another anime movie from like freshman year at college that my friends always talked about and we watched way back then that I know I can recommend on this channel. So I brought in another anime movie from the past, Appleseed.
Appleseed from 1988. In a vast, futuristic city built on the ashes of the Third World War, a police officer and her cyborg partner fight terrorism. It is directed by Kazuyoshi Katayama and written by Shiro Masamune. And it stars a bunch of American actors, in my case, watching the English dub.
Yes, I also watched the English dub for this particular viewing. I don't remember whether or not we watched English or Japanese back in over 20 years ago. So,
But it is
but yeah,
important to note that we watched the 1988 version because, as you
also,
said, there are a few different
yes,
versions out there.
yes, there are a few versions out there. Apparently, the one on Peacock is the 2007 version, which in talking with someone saying that we were going to record this, like, hey, that movie we watched back then, Appleseed, yeah, I'm going to watch it again. And like, oh, okay, just make sure, you do the 88 one because that's the one we watched back then. I'm like, oh, okay. They're like, yeah, they made two other ones. One that was okay, but it had either like the 88 one's the best. The second one was okay, but probably had some CGI stuff going on. And the 2007 one is a movie. So like, oh, it's the worst of the three, the 2007 one. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm glad you reminded me of which one we watched. So yeah, we watched the one from 1988. Um, and yeah, so I had remembered that it was a chick and a robot mech stuff, but I had forgotten a lot of other stuff about the movie. If I'm being honest, I just remembered, hey, Appleseed was a good time, and I remember I have friends who talk that movie up a lot. Even when I was like, "Oh, I'm going to be doing this," they're like, "Oh, that movie's fantastic." So I'm like, "Okay, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna be recommending a good film." So I'm like, "Yeah, Appleseed," and that's pretty much what I remember. Like, yeah, I watched it. I know it's got a good reputation. I'm recommending it. Had you ever even heard of this, Bill?
I don't think I had ever heard of this. Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
it didn't feel familiar to me at all. My wife felt like it sounded familiar. I think in viewing it, I don't think I think she realized she hadn't seen it or didn't know, wasn't aware of it. But yeah, I wasn't going in with completely open, unfiltered
Hmm.
expectations on this one.
Just knew it was about a robot. I think I might have mentioned it had something to do with robots.
Nope,
Oh, oh yeah.
nope.
I did.
Appleseed. If you did, it didn't set.
Gotcha.
I just knew Appleseed anime. That's it. Um,
Yeah.
So yeah,
All right. Well, getting right into it.
what a bummer of a way to start a story,
Right?
man.
Jeez.
Yeah,
I wish I were a bird.
unliving.
And then the dude wakes up, I'm like, okay. And then we get the quickest fucking little blob to try to tell us the text. It's like in Japanese, it's Star Wars text going up. But in the like subtitles,
Gave us
my
no time,
goodness.
zero time to read that. My wife is a fast reader, and even her at the fourth slide went, Jesus. Like I had given up at slide two.
Yeah.
By slide two, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna finish these.
Yeah,
I'll
I
just try and
paused
get the
and
keywords as quick as
yeah, I
possible.
rewound and paused like once, maybe twice, and then I just gave up and kept just all right, come on. You read faster
Robots,
than this.
androids,
Yeah, like you read
World War
faster than
Three.
this. Okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, essentially all it said post World War III robot dystopia. That one of these kind of stories.
yeah.
Um
Bubble safe city.
Bubble safe city. Yeah. And we start off with the fucking hostage rescue kind of stand out, all the stuff with that. One thing I will give this movie, there's a lot of action in it when the
Yep.
action is going, and they just kind of blah, 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 shoot first, questions later when it comes time for these things. That's a lot of the approach from a lot of the people in this movie. But
Yeah. A lot of my talk in this movie is going to be this moves so fast. And I think in this day and age we all like a fast movie. Like boy, in a world where you have to view something because you are going to be talking about it with your friend on Thursday no matter what, when that thing comes up and you see an hour and 11 minutes, that's a really good feeling. Um, uh, uh, but it's so fast. Like they slam through this plot at 100 miles an hour.
yeah, I
It's
will agree with
it's
that.
it's 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 really hard to keep up with it.
Yeah, and the juxtaposition in tone from the fast moments to the when they try to slow it down
Mhm.
and lore is so like 0 to 60 that I become so less invested in the plot.
Yeah.
Although it
Like
probably would
I
help
feel
me
like I
understand
look
the other
down at
stuff.
my dog, give him one pet, look back up, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I take a bite of like some food. I was just like, oh, okay. Wait, how did they get shot? I was
What's
just
happening?
wait, rewind. Wait, what did I miss? Yeah, that happened a few times throughout the
Yeah.
movie. But yeah,
Essentially, there's a terrorist organization that is like, no, the bubble city is a facade. We live in a police state, kind of terrorism.
yeah, and
Um,
things are too happy, and once you don't, and we eventually find out the guy having the nightmares, Karen, hilarious by the way, Karen Mouserus or something like that.
yeah.
But
When
Karen,
we when we we've gotten really lucky. We've gotten really lucky in dubs for a lot of the things we watched. But when in those episodes, when we talk about how we got lucky, we're referring to the voice actors of Karen. The voice actor that is playing Karen in this movie. Like that is the bad English dubbing.
yeah.
He is yeah, it's hard to not openly laugh at his delivery of dialogue later in the film when everything he's saying
It's supposed to
is
be
supposed to be
super serious and
super serious and super intense and climactic moments and big statements that he's making, and boy does it fall flat.
but yeah, he makes a point that his wife had her situation because she was given everything and with no struggle in life, she off herself to get escape or whatever. That was his reasoning behind everything. And then he's working with a guy named AJ Sebastian, who is a cyborg who's straight business. He just go if he's on the screen, he's making shit happen one way or
Yeah.
the other.
Yeah.
And I respect AJ Sebastian for that. I just find the names funny for the characters in this movie. Uh
He's got an interesting look for the villain of this film. He's got a memorable look. I don't quite understand in a world where there's cybertronic augmented body part replacements. When you lose an eye in this world, it's usually you replace it with like a supercomputer digital camera eyeball. Instead, he just covered it with a steel plate. Feels like a missed opportunity there. Um uh yeah, like in a world filled with cyborgs, he's just got like a few plates on his head.
yeah. Now he does the cyborg thing with his limbs
That's
because we
true.
see him like swapping out arms and stuff when he goes later in the movie when he's getting ready for like fight mode. But yeah, also Karen is a corrupt cop. Might as well mention that.
Yeah.
Um,
And then our other main characters are a blonde detective and her like cyborg sidekick,
yeah,
who's kind of big robot bunny
yeah,
imagery.
definitely. Yeah, got the bunny ears at the very least, and has a I forget what region. I don't know exactly. I want to say New York, but I don't think it's quite New York. But has an accent to that his English voice actor decided to choose for him, and
Yeah.
for like a lot of his delivery.
Yeah, he's got like a northeast coast kind
Yeah,
of just kind
Northeast
of
Coast
general.
kind
Yeah,
of.
just kind of a basic accent, like a Philly, New York, Boston kind of hybrid thing.
Mhm. So that was kind of fun. We just like hearing him say some of his lines. A lot of profanity in this movie.
A lot of profanity, most of the time very forced profanity. Like sometimes felt weird. Um yeah, flat out I don't
This
understand
it gets on
Hitomi.
my tits when this
I
happens.
don't understand Hitomi's involvement in this film.
Neither
I
do
feel
I.
like that was one of those moments where I pet my dog and all of a sudden she was the most important thing in this movie.
It went
And
over
I
my
admit
head
and I
too. They
and
were
I
just
like
like, "Hey, look, here's a picture of Hitomi in the files again." But why though? Yeah, and then they even mentioned she's easily replaceable because they have replicas. Like, because at one point, because the main characters are like, "You'll hit Hitomi, don't." Why do they want Hitomi? What's going on here? And if you can just make more,
she's
why do
like
you
a
want
human
Hitomi?
key
Maybe,
to this supercomputer that controls the city.
maybe that's why they want her. Yeah,
That's like the weird anime part of
yeah.
it of just
The
like, hey, we're
MacGuffin part of it.
Japanese.
Yeah,
We got to put some weird shit in here.
the
The key's a human. um
Americans have done it too. God of War 3. Um,
Joss Whedon, Buffy the
Joss
Vampire
Whedon.
Slayer.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, but yeah, she just becomes the most important thing in the. I
In the
started
film.
looping. I started looping. I like in the thing, in the thing, in the
In the
thing.
thing. Uh yeah, that's one of those where it just kind of jumps in and I'm like, what uh, how, how did we get here? How is she important? Um Another one where I'm like, I don't know if I missed us resolving this, but in this very fast movie, we decided to dedicate like 4 minutes to a flashback of Karen sitting in his apartment grieving, and then like three black and white therapists show up
Yeah,
and start questioning him about his wife, drag him away. It's probably even more than 4 minutes. It's a good
yeah.
chunk.
No,
And
yeah,
then we have some moments of him being like experimented on this table. Like,
I guess that's to further
why
justify
was
his disjointedness with the utopia aspect.
okay, yeah.
That would be my thing because he's seen the dark side of the city, both through the metaphorical thing with his wife uh exiting the plane of existence
Hmm.
and him, doing his thing. He's like, nah, fuck this place. I'll pretend to be a cop, but I'm gonna get my shit done. But yeah, that Sebastian dude, the second he decides to put on his fucking super shredder outfit and the bartenders like tried to rat him out, and he just like I figured something like that would happen. I'm like, they wouldn't be showing us this right now if he's not going to get caught. And sure enough, he gets caught from like upstairs, just hears him one moment. Reaches through the fucking wall and kills him. Like, damn. Um, they had a montage when the two of them finally go on their mission.
Yeah, that's one of my notes. Even in a Japanese anime, it's still an 80s movie, and we got to do a montage to a rock song.
All it was missing was the words. Like
Yeah,
but
we
yeah, no,
gotta
it's
fight these criminals. Yeah.
robo terrorist. But yeah, I'm like, wow, they even had the fucking 80s montage. That said, the soundtrack in this movie at a lot of points just kind of, I don't know, didn't feel like it fit what was happening on screen.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I like the 80s montage one. That one, sure, it's a fucking 80s movie, and yeah,
yep.
but some of the other scenes, I'm like, that's interesting song choice for what's happening on the screen right now. I don't know. It took me out of a couple of the scenes.
I really like the styling of the androids that are similar or adjacent to the main partner.
Yeah.
I really like that the just this the I like that aesthetic of how they did those androids.
Uh-huh.
Um like a lot of the art styling of this film.
Oh yeah.
Beyond that, the best thing I can say is that it's very inoffensive. Like you made that statement about music, and I was like, "There's music in this film." I just like
Yeah.
it's so fast that nothing registered. I knew that there was a montage, but when you said the only thing that's missing is lyrics, I was like, "Oh yeah, there probably. I guess there wasn't lyrics."
One second.
All of a sudden, just like your entire monitor and your camera goes flying. Yeah, so I I can't say I enjoyed it. To everyone at home, to everyone at home listening to me, I can't say that I enjoyed it. I can say that it went by so quickly that I can't possibly complain about it. I was telling the folks at home, I can't possibly enjoy this film, but I also can't complain about it because it went by so quickly. Like I said, the best thing this film does is it's incredibly inoffensive.
Uh-huh.
But I can't speak to other than the styling of the robots, because I don't even know if I love the styling of like the mech suits. They're fine. And then the big spaceship is basically just a copy of that Empire probe droid
Yeah.
in gigantic form. Um uh but yeah, I'm okay with the mech suits, but like the androids as in like the partner of the blonde cop. Um but it's just like you said, music. I can't think of a single second of music because this thing went by so fast. Who is the redheaded lady?
Athena.
What is her job?
I'm assuming she's either like the mayor of the city, and you hear me assuming either like the mayor of the city or like their super boss. Because she seems like she's giving orders to a lot of people. Like, if not just the police force, then
But
she's
doesn't
like,
necessarily feel cop.
right. That's why I say like the mayor,
Yeah.
probably, of the city. Like she's clearly in charge of everything, and she's like calling multiple department, telling them to send the gunships in. But yeah, I was gonna make a joke since the place was called Olympus, and because I've been playing a lot of God of War, I was just gonna be like to allude to what the wife did at the beginning. Turns out Karen's that I was gonna make something about like the gods of Olympus, how abandoned her. Now there's no hope that she jumped. Whatever. God of War jokes, and the place is called Olympus. It doesn't matter. That's why I didn't make the joke earlier.
Now, I mean, if they were to have if this story would have been built around some like Greek mythology or something, that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, they do call the place Olympus, and there's a couple. There are a lot of Greek names to things.
Right.
Like the robot partner is like Barsilius or whatever the first name is, Hecatoncheires, which is straight out of Greek mythology. We mentioned Athena. We mentioned that the city name or whatever organization is Olympus. There's thematics in there, but it was still, and there might be some more Greek parallels that I don't know about.
Yep.
The movie's called Appleseed, and I don't really know why it's called Appleseed.
I haven't thought about it until just now. Like that's what the movie doesn't give you time to think about anything, including why it's called Appleseed. I hit play, my wife started to make cupcakes, and it was over.
Dude, even the final fight was over. Like they take down the dude
That
in
was
the
yeah.
robot. He's got a super shredder suit. He comes out and gets one tapped.
The climax of this, the entire climax of this movie is the cop slowly aiming at a bullseye from far away.
But she's left-handed. I like how the lady's like, okay, I don't care if you're left-handed, you're still a trained marksman, and I ain't. Shoot the damn target. Like I don't want
Like
to hear.
that's the end of this movie. That's the big and it yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
Karen goes out relatively easily. Like just I have to make the stand. I'm dying. Wait, what?
yeah. And then she hits the bullseye and the space and literally it just cuts to big bad terrorist dude in the spaceship and all of a sudden it just loses power. And he's just like, oh no. And then it just falls and then the door opens and they shoot him in the head. Done. Movie over.
I was like, he just got one death. Bam.
Yeah. Door opens and he just gets shot in the head. And I'm like, wait, is it?
This man done broke out of handcuffs earlier in the thing, trying to show he's superhuman. He's assaulted like 3 or 4 bases throughout it, soloing the thing. And then he just pop, done.
Yeah.
GG's.
I want the parody version of this movie where the camera turns to the crowd of cops and the one guy with the smoking gun and everybody turns to him and is just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is where he makes his dramatic monologue. We gotta end this movie.
Get a monologue.
This isn't how you end a movie.
At least Karen dying as easily as he did was foreshadowed because he wanted this cool armor that could be really fast, and they like, yeah, but you gonna die real easily if you get hit. I just don't have to get hit. Okay, but it's weak. Oh, he did crack me up with the cheesy. What's that over there? Oh, that's what's her name's new suit. It's also she'll be a strong opponent. You mean ally, right? Yes, that's what I wrote. It's like, in case you at home have not realized that he is a bad guy, we're gonna put in this cheesy slip. It gets on my tits. What are these expressions?
It gets on my tits. Yes. Yes. And then like in the final the ending of the film, the last words the terrorist, the villain says is fucking cocksucker. Literally, that's the end of the movie. The girl shoots the bullseye, and then we cut to the ship, and he goes, "What the fuck?" And then
Fucking
it starts to
cocksucker.
fall to the ground. Yeah, and he goes, "Fucking cocksucker!"
And then he
And then
climbs out and
bullet to the
gets shot.
forehead.
You know what? This movie's all right. uh, yeah. Let's see. But yeah, lots of good. I like the action. Like you said, everything else moving super fast. Kind of both to his credit and detriment. It
Yeah.
kind of mellows out to an unoffensive film.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, like I feel like our conversation is wrapping up, which will probably I don't have a timer on it. It's got to be one of our quickest episodes we've ever done. And it's only justified because I mean, how dare we make a podcast episode that's the same length as the film?
That's
Particularly
true.
this film.
That's true. But yeah, that's Appleseed. It's good. I liked it. It has its flaws, but it's unoffensive. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's one of the best things I've ever watched. I'm not gonna say that. I do think I found it to be a bit overrated from how certain people were building it up to be. But I'm not mad that I watched
Yeah, no, I
it.
can like I said, to anyone who may be watching that enjoys this film, I don't hold that against you at all. And in fact, I feel like this would be an enjoyable film to maybe watch as a group.
Mhm.
Particularly maybe the English dub, looking at it as kind of a comedy, laughing, and it goes by so fucking fast. So fucking fast. I'll watch this again right now because it feels
Yeah.
it's an hour and 10 minutes with credits, and it feels like 35.
Yeah.
Um uh so I can totally understand enjoying this movie. For me, like I said, it's just the best thing I can say about it is that it's inoffensive.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing about it that's bad. And then it's so fast that it starts to become a negative of how fast it is. But I also really can't complain about that much because I beg for being able to have a piece of content that's purely just an hour
Yeah,
and I watch
especially
it and I'm done,
considering
clean exit.
considering that seems to be the seesaw with suggestions about like can have this 1 hour old movie from the past and like this 3 hour Indian film. Let's go. But yeah, so there we have it. Appleseed. I don't even think there was a single character named Johnny. Take that. So what are we watching next week?
Next week we are going to watch a film called Hot Rod from 2007.
Oh, all right. Hot Rod. Looking forward to it. Yeah, if you want to catch some of us talking about some other stuff on this channel, we got plenty of shows out there. Mondays, we got mock draft. Sorry, on the occasional Monday, we've got mock draft. Two guys usually just drafting things of any kind of sort. Check that out. Wednesdays, I got a show with a good friend of mine, good friend of the channel, Super Jazz.
Super
Thank you
Jazz.
very much. As nature intended, we talk about just that, whatever we want on the Whatever We Want podcast. Not sure if I said the name of the show before I said I do it with Super Jazz, but yes, I heard you do the Whatever We Want podcast on Saturdays. Bill and I have the show called You Don't Watch Sports. Two guys, three topics, help you sprinkle a little information into your casual sports conversation, be a guiding light through the sea of casual sports talk. And yeah, I also have a Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That's Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. Day 240. Know what I'm saying? Yeah. Bill, you got anything else you want to say to folks?
No.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week with Hot Rod. Adiosness.